Parliament approved recommendations of the Prof. Ntiamwa Bedu-led Committee on Emoluments regarding the First and Second Ladies was inconsistent with provisions in the Constitution since they can't be classified as Article 71 office holders. Kwame Bafo, among other reliefs, was seeking a declaration that per Article 71, 1 and 2, the positions of the First and Second Ladies of Ghana do not fall under the category of public office holders. A declaration that per Article 71, the Emoluments Committee is limited to recommending the salaries and other benefits and privileges of only public office holders. The fourth relief by Abronye, which was praying the court to declare that Parliament cannot on its own accord initiate or approve payment of any such emoluments, which would necessarily be paid from public funds without a bill to that effect emanating from and introduced by the government and duly passed into law, was however dismissed by the Apex Court. Lawyer for Kwame Bafo spoke to the media.
I'm happy, not just because I was the counsel who came before the Honorable Court, but also the fact that I'm a citizen of the Republic and the rule of law has been upheld in this instance case again. That is also giving us the assurance that the Constitution is still in force and it's been upheld by the judiciary, and I'm very, very happy, very much about that.
The Bono NPP chairman, Kwame Bafo, expressed satisfaction with the court's judgment.
I was surprised to hear that Parliament has adopted the recommendation that First and Second Ladies should be added to the position as if they are the deputy ministers. That is why I filed the suit, and hopefully the Supreme Court has said that Parliament exceeded their jurisdiction. They don't have that mandate to add unless that particular provision, which is an intent provision, be amended. And it's something that we have to amend it through referendum, and Parliament cannot do that.
Despite filing similar reliefs, NDC Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafemekpos, all but one relief was dismissed. Chief Justice Tokonu explained that his reliefs focused on the recommendations of the Professor Ya Ntiamwa Bedu Committee, while that of Abronye's focused on Parliament's action. With this unanimous decision by the Supreme Court, it means that henceforth, unless you are an Article 71 public office holder, you are not entitled to any salaries, benefits, or emoluments.
Well, so welcome back to the key point here on TV3. We're also live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. Remember, you can also join us on X, at 3FM 927, also and TV3 Ghana, also on X. So we're very, very interactive this morning here on the key point. Please do well to share your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions with us. Joining us for this conversation this morning is Member of Parliament for the Asante Achim North constituency. He is the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, and also a member of a number of committees in this same August House, the House of Representatives. He is a private legal practitioner as well. The Honorable Andiapia Kubi. Good morning to you, Honorable. Thank you very much for joining us. All is well?
Very well, thank you.
Okay.
It could have been better though, but the circumstances, we will praise God.
Yeah. We sing the same song as well. Did you sleep in darkness at any point in the Dumso?
Oh, at least last night there was light throughout the day, and I'm told and reliably informed that the problem is being resolved, and that going forward in the weeks ahead, we will not experience it again.
Who told you that?
It's very refreshing. I've been in touch with the ministry.
I see.
And I'm reliably informed that the solutions are on the way.
So in the coming weeks?
So in the coming weeks.
Did he give you a timeline?
Well, not really, but I'm very much assured that in the coming weeks it will go away.
I thought Herbert Crabber said.
Unfortunately, I'm not Herbert Crabber.
Crapper.
Unfortunately, I'm not him.
Oh.
I'm telling you what I have. The information that I have is what I'm sharing with you.
I see. Because earlier the timeline was that we will not get into April.
That's
I didn't say that.
Kojo Poku said it. And then,
I am Andy Apiakubi. And this is the information that I have that I'm sharing with you.
Indeed.
so I can say for me, say the whole of my side of Adabraka was doing so the whole day.
The whole day.
So I worked from my car.
Nobody enjoys
The whole
this
day, Adabraka,
energy
just
interruptions. Nobody enjoys it, but we are only
around the
looking at
Trust Towers, the Catholic Cathedral, down, the whole day. So eventually I left about 4 something. Just
Couldn't
to go.
work.
Martin, all of us are praying
You have
that
to
we have
charge the
solutions.
laptop with the car. You know, you put on the engine and then connect.
Yes.
So
Martin,
you charge a few hours, then you go upstairs, wait, heat,
I'm
then
sure,
come down.
I'm
then
sure
work from
all
the
of
car.
us are praying that this problem will be resolved. And the earlier it is
But who
resolved, the
isn't
better.
praying? Except Napo, who says we are evil.
He's not here to defend
But he says so, but he's there. Has he since apologized? He's the only one who says if we talk about Doomsday timetable, then we are evil. After we've made him who he is today.
No, I haven't heard him say
Pebu
that.
is private legal practitioner. He is one of the leaders of one of the 3 individual bond. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes. So also the convener for the Komi demonstration. Now, Martin Pebu, you've well.
Martin, you are any new title.
You've introduced yourself.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome.
The passport, yes.
okay.
Mr. Okase, we'll talk about the passport today.
We didn't come here for passport.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
The young people want to go to the US, and you are stopping
Who
them.
wants to go to the
The
US?
young people, unemployed graduates.
Also
We are not stopping them.
Nelson Roxon, Eche Dafiamepo, who is Member of Parliament for the South Dai constituency, also a private legal practitioner,
Presidential amendments.
and he is one of the plaintiffs in this case that we're going to talk about right now. Member Nelson Roxon Dafiamepo, good morning, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here once more.
Congratulations, it's in order.
I have
So,
encountered you for the past 3 weeks or so. You've been busy.
Professor Ransford
First
Jampo
lady's
is a
case,
professor of political science and a governance expert at the University of Ghana. Joining us as well, Professor Ransford Jampo. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's been a while. You've been sojourning around the world.
Yes, I mean, sometimes you have to switch off from Ghana and go and take some vacation or rest elsewhere so that you would be able to have some peace of mind, off the kuka in your own country. And see, when you visit other people's country and you see the level of development, you begin to wonder whether we have the same human beings who have powered development elsewhere, whether we have them here. Where we went, I mean, it's unfair. I didn't want to, I don't want to compare UK to Ghana. You don't have to compare. But sometimes you can't help it. Everywhere I went to...
Why shouldn't we compare? Best practices.
No, well, I mean,
They are also comparing.
I don't want to compare. I mean,
No,
I've not been to...
Even the Chief Justice.
My friend, keep quiet and let me say what I want to say.
It's okay.
I had not been to Saudi Arabia before.
Right.
So I was overwhelmed. As for UK, I've been like Nakufuado. I mean, I've been going there. But sometimes you begin to wonder whether the human beings who have done the kinds of things they have done there are the same human beings that we have here.
With the same
Now,
blood running through.
everywhere you went, you are going with a train that goes underground. So many feet, underground. And I was there, I heard that our only one train has been involved in an accident. Just one. And I said, and I heard the blame game. There's somebody saying some NDC people have gone to park some vehicle there, and I said, look at us. Look at us. Just our one train. Okay. I think that leadership since independence have failed. the good people of Ghana.
Leadership since independence.
Yes, since independence, okay, we have failed. Because if you look at the level of development elsewhere and you compare it to what we are seeking to do to ourselves, always trying to tick the box, doing things without our soul in whatever we seek to do for our people. So look, Martin, understand me. I don't want to call. If you, we are worlds apart.
Yes,
We are worlds.
indeed.
Do we do what?
Do we do it for our people?
Do we do what for our people?
What you are saying? That's
So obviously we
the
don't.
things we
That's
do for
what
our
he's
people.
saying.
No, what I'm
I'm
saying.
saying. Do we do it for our people after all?
Well. I mean, I think it's a rhetoric question that the good people of Ghana would be able to be the best judge in providing, responses. But the point is that
If I want to conclude that, or we purport to do it for ourselves.
well, I mean, you are a politician, so you know the answer to this rhetoric question better than I do. But the point I'm trying to make is that it appears that we are being wicked to ourselves. Okay, we are being wicked to ourselves, and the caliber of people we have elected or selected to power or to lead us towards development, they have failed. And that is why I was telling Martin about this, that this morning, just this morning came to city, that's why I was telling Martin that it's because leadership has failed. That's how come now you have everybody getting up, say, I want to go to parliament. Everybody getting up, say, I want to run as president. You look at the caliber of people who we are a country of human resource, people who have been well educated, who should be able to lead. We are a country that you can say we export human resource to other people's country to go and develop. But when it gets to us as a people, when we are given the mandate to govern our own people, we perform so abysmally. We hate ourselves. We try to involve ourselves in all manner of misgovernance and corruption, such that it creates an impression that, look, I don't know how to put it, but the point is that the point is that if you look at the caliber of people who now want to go to parliament, if you look at the caliber of people who want to run as presidents, as independent candidates and all that, it tells you that we have failed, because they feel that they can also go. Today, I have read somewhere that Ayawaso West Wogon, of all places, Stephen Appiah, the footballer, says he wants to go and he wants to go and contest. But you see, it means that the intellectual community that ideally should have elected an intellectual to go and serve their interest has failed. Okay, and so because of that, this man feels, after playing football, if he can go and construct roads, if he can go and construct hospitals, if he can go and ensure that people have stable supply of power, then he feels that he can do it. And I'm saying I disagreed with Martin earlier, but I think that behind the scenes he said something that makes a lot of sense to me. That if those who are supposed to do it, if those that we trust have been educated, and they claim that they are lawyers, they claim that they are economists, they claim that they are finance people, if they can't do it, then please let us allow the market women, the traders, the footballers, those that we feel are not educated but are passionate about development, let us begin to identify them and ask them to lead us. Well, so it's a shame. Wait. Let me land on this. Yes. So you see, you are in somebody's country, and everybody tells you see things going on there, and you feel like, but why don't I also think about relocating? And then the people there tell them, no, as for you, you have to go back and help the place develop. And my question that I keep asking myself is that all the people who are governing us, they've been here, they know what goes on here. Why are they not bringing about the knowledge, what they have seen, to Ghana? So you say you want to construct a train. Look at this small train that you call, and it is working. It is moving on the bare land or something. People are digging holes underground, and so you see a whole community built, and it has ×2 or ×3 of that community underground. Haven't we seen this before? Haven't we traveled before? When they say travel and see. So please, we are at the service to ourselves, and it is. I think that it will be better for us, those of us who feel we are educated. It will be better for us to be at the background, and then allow people who have the passion to serve to govern us. If he is a footballer, if he is a comedian, if he is a musician, if he is whatever, and he has a passion to serve, let us give them the nod, because the political elites in Ghana have failed us.
And your passion for governance obviously is evident in these few words that you have shared with us upon your travels. The last time you were in Saudi Arabia, when you came back, this ignited another conversation on governance. Something certainly must change. We
somebody just texted that no lights at Kolebu. You leave.
There are no lights at Kolebu.
I didn't have lights yesterday.
You see,
okay.
When you travel and you are in London, okay. In time past, I mean, I had to make the conclusion that but after all, Ghana is not as bad as sometimes we paint it, because if the lights are on, I mean, it's a beautiful country. But this time when we're coming, it's like the whole country is a village, like a village. No lights here, vehicle lights, but majority of the place, very, very, very dark.
Well, so while we are talking about,
and we keep giving excuses and explanations as to why we don't have light. We are not
talking about presidents and vice presidents. Nelson Rossen, you were at the Supreme Court this week,
Yes.
And I want to clear this off the table very quickly. The Supreme Court, in 2 separate judgments, declared as unconstitutional the payment of wages.
Yes.
To the spouses of the president and the vice president. That's the first lady and second lady.
Yes.
The 2 cases which were ruled upon at the Supreme Court this week were filed by yourself and the NPP Bono Regional Chairman Kwame Bafo Abronye. Now, these suits followed this controversy that emerged, if you recall, as a result of recommendations by the Presidential Emoluments Committee for spouses of the president and vice president to be paid wages and emoluments. That generated a lot of conversation in this country during that period. Well, so Nelson Rossen headed to the Supreme Court to test the law on this matter. Guess what? The Supreme Court has ruled in his favor that the payment of wages to First Lady and Second Lady are unconstitutional. But yet, we still have an office of First Lady, Second Lady, and we are expending the taxpayers' money on these offices. Certainly, congratulations is in order for what you did, because aside from that, we should have been now paying if you hadn't tested the law on this matter. So, beyond this, what reason, I see that the courts granted one of your release.
Yes,
and then the others,
yes.
What happened?
Now, what I did was to pray the court to pronounce on the validity or otherwise of the Yaintiamwas and her team exceeding their mandate. Because mind you, this is a constitutional imperative that the president has to constitute this body to look into the emoluments, appropriate emoluments for all Article 71 office holders. Mm-hmm. Now, as part of the TOR that the Yaintiamo and her team had, they exceeded it because the mandate was to deal with emoluments for Article office of 71 office holders. Then they exceeded that by making recommendations attendant upon spouses of the president and the vice president. Mm-hmm. And this constitution of this body was pursuant to 1, the Constitution, and 2, the Presidential Transitions Act. So, in my humble view, the court had the power to pronounce on it, but they refused to do so. So it's okay. The material relief was that the payments that were subsequently made to the first lady and the second lady was declared unconstitutional. So that's it.
I see.
Now, if you look at the reasoning of the court, I haven't received it.
Indirectly, there is inference that that constitutional question has been answered.
Yes. Now, that's what I'm saying. I disagree with the court. I disagree with the court because you see, the Yain Tiamoa and her team worked pursuant to law, in pursuance of law. In fact, two key provisions in the Constitution pursuant to the president appointing the body, and two, the Presidential Transitions Act. Now, if you read the Presidential Transition Act, you will see that household as defined includes the spouses of the president and the vice president. So I belong to the school of thought that says that we don't need to have a separate provision for them.
So the Presidential Transitions Act takes care of them.
Yes, and the households.
Their welfare.
Yes, and the households.
I see.
And so there's a budget. Every year, Parliament approves some amount of money for the office of the president to expend. And the vice president's office is also under the office of the president. And so the disaggregation of budget allocations are done by the office of the president, championed by the chief of staff. So she makes provisions for all these key agencies under it. That is why, in my humble view, we ought not to do that. Because otherwise, tomorrow, when bodies are given terms of reference, they can exceed it and do what they ought not to do, first of all, in law. The court said, well, their recommendations were mere recommendations. But I disagree that they are not mere recommendations. Because they expended state resources.
Becomes precedent.
It becomes a precedent. So it ought to have been struck down as not part of the terms of reference. First of all, they didn't have that mandate to make recommendations regarding any other person other than Article 70 office holders. Yeah,
well, let's look at the
Presidential Transition Act that defines household.
Yes.
I even see it as inconsistent with the Constitution that elects persons under Article 71. So
No,
when
this
the
is a large interpretation.
Yes, but when the Constitution has elected to mention persons that qualify under Article 71, what law can go into interpretation to expand that which Constitution has been specifically,
prescribed?
That's
another
for the benefit of our viewers,
yes,
respectfully.
yeah.
Let me put the essence of the Professor Yain Tiamoa Bedu's committee's report specifically on this issue of the First Lady and Second Lady. They're retiring and they're serving First Lady and Second. Take a look at this. The administration of President Kufuor introduced the extension of courtesies, including the payment of monthly allowances to spouses of former heads of state, presidents, vice presidents. Now, subsequent administrations have continued the gesture and even extended them to incumbent first and second ladies. So here's what all of this happened. It started with the Kufuor administration. It was just some gesture to retiring first ladies and second ladies. But it was extended to serving first ladies and second ladies. This gesture remains purely humanitarian to support and, in some cases, rehabilitate former first ladies who were evidently struggling to subsist. However, there is no legal basis for this support. Thus, the committee recommends that the support extended to spouses of president, former presidents, vice presidents, former vice presidents, wives, continues, be regularized and included in privileges of presidents, former presidents, vice presidents, former vice presidents. Essentially. So, this is where the Professor Yain Tiamoa Bedu's committee specifically talks about what you decided to go and test the law on.
Yes, you see, when this report came to Parliament, there's no formula for Parliament approving things like this. So it was approved by what we call Committee of the Whole. Now, at the Committee of the Whole, the procedure is such that you don't have the structure to delete portions of this report if you objected to portions of the recommendation. What would have happened was that then the House would have decided to return the report to the committee for them to delete those portions and subsequently reconstitute the report, deleting the portions that some members of parliament had objections to, if the House agreed to, and then return same to the House for approval. The life of that parliament would have ended. And mind you, this report came at the tail end of the life of the
last parliament.
7th parliament. So if you look at the how parliament works, it's only the Supreme Court that has the power to say that no, one, you didn't have the mandate to make these recommendations because you exceeded it. I was hoping that would have been done. So it would have saved Parliament the trouble if somebody had raised the objections. I heard quietly that I'm a member of Parliament and we ought to have known what we were doing. It's not every time that you get a chance. The circumstances are such that it's not every time that you get a chance. That is why you go to the Supreme Court for them to tidy things up. But I'm comforted that going forward, any committee or anybody that's given a mandate will operate within their mandate and not exceed it. Because the recommendation from the Yainti Amos Committee, it's not a mere recommendation. They sought to give some basis to it.
I see, but did the court say anything about the monies that have been expended or spent on this, the first lady and the second lady?
I didn't make that prayer, and any pronouncement from the Supreme Court has force of law. It becomes consequential. So any consequential orders are implied. If monies were paid, indeed, let the record reflect that when I issued this writ, it's sometime in February 2021. Almost immediately thereafter, public pressure was brought to bear on government, so the monies were refunded too.
Yes.
Yes.
And we lauded the first lady for doing that.